Welcome to this edition of Who Gets the China, where we are supporting aging parents and saving our sanity. Emerging from the Caregiving Vortex. I was on the plane returning from a week-long visit to see my parents. As I sat down on the plane with my headphones on to write in my journal, I felt like I was emerging from a vortex with my hair windblown, my mind spiraling, and my cortisol spiking. I suddenly imagined myself as Carol Ann in the bathtub scene in Poltergeist, holding on for dear life as the creepy lady repeats, "Look into the light, Carol Ann! Look into the light!" I'm desperately clinging to the edge of the tub, covered in goo, trying not to get sucked in. Okay, that's a bit dramatic, and my mom is not the creepy lady, but I am a child of the 70s and 80s, and that scene is forever imprinted on my brain. I had entered and emerged from what I have begun to think of as the caregiving vortex. 5-hour delay at the airport probably didn't help my emotional state. Thankfully, my husband was with me on this visit to help reinstall the garage post that got in the way of my mom's car and assembled a queen-size bed in the guest room for adults. Yay! I felt a little crazy for feeling burnt out, tired, and overwhelmed. That was how I felt. Knowing what a lot of friends do for their aging parents, my load is fairly light. But they need support, and I'm glad to be able to provide it, but it can be a lot. Is it just me, or does this feel familiar? A caregiving week at my parents' looks a little like this for me. Abandoning almost everything else on my plate for the week. Trying to work remotely from the patio or the bed in between errands, appointments, and quality time. Little contact with my outside support systems, since making personal phone calls is really hard, and group texting only goes so far. Putting personal administrivia on hold and having bills, appointments, and email pile up. Not opening the knitting or the actual book I brought with me once because there never seems to be time. Feeling a little guilty sneaking in a yoga class or an early morning solo walk. The guilt is somewhat self-inflicted, but my mom does make puppy dog eyes and sad sounds when I say I have other plans for an hour. Why do I let it feel like this? I am an exceptional multitasker at home, so I think. In my regular life, I balance work, wifedom, motherhood, volunteering, writing, yoga, executive functions, and I even manage to cook dinner some nights. But when I enter caregiving mode, I am all in. I have a week to help out with so many things and spend quality time with my parents, so everything else ceases to matter. I collapse into bed each night using whatever aids it takes to try and get a full night's sleep. This includes earplugs, my eye mask, calm sleep stories, and often medication. Please understand I am not complaining, not one bit. I am just realizing I am sitting with the notion that caregiving is hard and also a gift. I am lucky to have both my parents still on this earth with me, and I am grateful for that. But the vortex sucks me in every time, and I emerge exhausted and frustrated with myself. Why do I do this? Why do I do that? Why did I focus on this? Why did I not make more time for that? I am learning to give myself some grace and appreciation and rewrite some unproductive neural pathways that keep me stuck. But it's hard for me not to try and do it all and let stuff fall to the ground. So the vortex comes for me. At least now I see it on the horizon and I can prepare a bit better. Am I alone, or do you get sucked into a caregiving vortex? I'd love to hear your stories and how you maintain your sanity while juggling it all. Who Gets the China is written and hosted by Kirsten Mao, produced by Aaron Bryce of Blue Ogden Productions. Our theme music is composed by Greg Fellman of Wind Sand Productions. Our cover art is by Jen Beam of Gigawatt Studio. For more stories and expert advice, follow along on Substack or at www.whogetsthechina.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might appreciate the conversation. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time.